Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hopefully it's welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners, sponsored by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes. Let's welcome him to the show, as today we are discussing etiquette and manners at a conference. Welcome. Hello.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
Super excited. It's Friday. Yay.
Absolutely. Lovely to see you, Dr. Jacalyn. Look fantastic in red.
Thank you very much, Philip. You look fantastic as well. And you've been literally all over the world. I'm having a hard time keeping up with you. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing.
Thank you. Yeah, a few weeks ago, as some of the viewers may know, we were in South Africa delivering some coaching and training and doing Train the Trainer, the first live one we've done since March 2020, which was a great success and a joy, and nice to be in a warm climate as well. And from there, I got back, started another online Zoom Train the Trainer, and then I was flown off to Barcelona to work with a prestigious brand called Montclair, and did a full day's conference with them on the power of etiquette and manners, and really focusing on a bit of EQ and understanding. It was a bit of a generic, touching different elements of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence and customer excellence and mindset. And then back to the UK, and gee, it's just been a whirlwind tour for the last couple of months, actually. And you say you can't keep up with me. I don't think I can keep up with me myself.
I love that. You are certainly making a huge difference in the world. So thank you for all the positive energy that you and your team are putting out there. So Phil, before we get into our topic today about conferences, which I think is really relevant because more and more people are attending conferences. People are speaking at them. A number of people on our platform definitely are keynote speakers, as are you. And people seemingly forget that there are some manners and some protocols that they should follow. But tell us about the British School of Excellence and the value that your cohorts and the graduates are gaining by going to your school and taking your courses.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to be in a position that we're in the sense that we work with the most spectacular people from all over the world and all ages. And our vision and focus is building confidence, changing lives. That is one of our strap lines. And the other line is live, learn, teach, inspire. Taking people who are a little bit more mature, who've lived a lot, they've learned a lot. They want to go into coaching and training, and they want to inspire people to put their best foot forward. And that's what we do as an organization. All our material is focused on instilling these great words of etiquette and manners and emotional intelligence. And under those three sort of titles, it's like tentacles of even more legs than an octopus. It really is, because every aspect of our lives is how do we show up, how do we put our best foot forward, and how do we make other people feel? Are we consistent in our behavior, and are we making a difference to ourselves and then as a result in this world? And as an organization, we really do make it our business to give you these quintessential tools. I always use, it's very much H2H, human to human. And one size fits one size does not fit all. And this is what we really take a huge amount of time, effort, and energy in focusing with laser sharp focus on each individual and making a difference in the approach that how we deliver the coaching and training to that particular person or to that particular group.
And the success rate is phenomenal. It's actually brilliant what it is that you're doing there and the key learnings that you're instilling into each and every person who comes through your doors. I'd love to talk about conferences. As I mentioned, you are a keynote speaker. And one of the things I think that was kind of eye-opening for me is that in some cases, as a speaker, it's a paid position. And in other cases, it's a barter or trade. And then in some cases, you actually, not you, I'm saying in general, a person actually has to pay to be a keynote speaker. So is there any etiquette matters in being a speaker?
Most definitely. Like everything, you've got to show great respect for your audience. You've got to be able to learn to connect quickly with your audience. You've got to be able to come on there giving off confidence, even though you might have butterflies in your stomach or someone even breakdancing inside there feels like it. You've got to find tools on how you can work through your nerves and turn those nerves into giving you the adrenaline to perform and to show your best, put your best foot forward. As a speaker, there's no, not even a gap, not a small gap to let the audience know that you might have had a bad night's sleep or you're feeling a bit ill or your throat is sore. You've got to show up for the audience, and that is the part you've committed to. And one of the big for me, one of the biggest things along this, apart from the etiquette and manners surrounding this, is preparation and practice. You owe it, to yourself, but you owe it to the people who are giving up their time to come and listen to you, because time is one of our, along with health, is the most beautiful gift we have in this world, and time doesn't do refunds. So if you haven't prepared and practiced and really given all your energy on that stage or wherever you might be speaking from, you're letting yourself down, but more so you're letting the people in the room down. There's a lot to think about when it comes to engaging with people. One of the other areas that's fundamental, which Dr. Ivan Meisner, who set up BNI, the Business Network International, when we had our Live, Learn, Teach, and Inspire program last year already. And one of the things he absolutely shared with us, that his team had to give him some tools and guidance on his body language, and he would be a big finger pointer and that sort of thing. And he was going to a country where finger pointing is just absolutely out. And I would suggest finger pointing should be vetoed wherever you go. You use a beautiful open hand and a gesture. And so you've got to polish your body language. You've got to polish the way you walk on stage. There are so many aspects to becoming a great presenter from the front of the room.
I love that saying you just said, time doesn't give refunds, right? That's amazing. It's
so true.
So true.
The time bank won't give you any refunds. even if you pray and ask for it. This moment's gone. This moment's gone. And it is. We get 86,400 seconds given to us every day. Everyone gets the same amount of time. How you choose to use your time is completely up to you. So there's a whole scenario that revolves around that. And when you're late for someone, or when you mess people around in a venue or something, don't waste their time, because it's as close to as theft as you will ever get.
Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Philip, just to go back to what you were sharing, you are the speaker, you're there, you know your subject, you feel confident in what it is you're presenting. And there's some people in the audience who are being disrespectful to the speaker. Maybe they're heckling, they're yelling things out. Do you address it? Do you acknowledge it? Do you say, gentlemen in the third row, how do you handle that?
Initially, I would just do a generic please. If everyone out there could just take the time and honor me or whoever it is speaking, I'd really appreciate that, because we all need an opportunity and a chance. Sometimes there could be nerves coming through, or you as the audience don't appreciate how hard it is to stand up on a stage in front of people. Remember, a speaker is always thinking, I'm going to mess up, or if I do. But what's lovely about practicing and preparing is that your audience doesn't know your speech word for word. So if you happen to lose your way a bit and bring it back on board, they're not going to know any different. It's just when you as a speaker are not professional enough. And no one should ever heckle or belittle anybody in life in general, but unfortunately people do. But coming back to your original question, it is something where you literally do a generic please. I've got half an hour with you. I'd really appreciate it if you could just focus and be calm and quiet and not disruptive. Everyone is here to benefit. And if it continues, then you can start to almost belittle them in a roundabout way. But you're not, you don't want to belittle people, but you want to make sure that it's very clear. You've given them a sort of a warning shot, so to speak, a very generic, friendly one, so to speak. And now it's down to excuse me. And it's very much, Dr. Jacalyn, an audience, is if I stand up at the front of a room and I say, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a quick short half hour here. I'm not going to take any questions during this half hour. I will filter the questions at the end. Is that okay with everyone? And I get people nodding. And as you go into your as you start addressing the audience, someone says, excuse me, you say, sir or ma'am, please, won't you just bear with me? As I said, I'll answer the question in 30 minutes when I've finished my address to everyone. And you start going, oh, excuse me again. And this time you just literally say, as I said, I will answer at the end. And just keep your hand there for a period of time. And then just continue as you're starting to speak. And that there will hopefully get them to shush. So there are many little tools that we can impart with our students on how to address these sort of situations.
I love that, because you never know what's going to happen. And now that you shared what we can do, it gives confidence so that if this does happen, you don't fall apart and start to crumble. Oh, please don't say it. Now, here's my next question. As the speaker, you are doing your best and something happens, you don't get sleep the night before, you get to the venue late, you're clearly not organized. Do you come out there and tell the audience, hey, I'm really sorry, but I'm not feeling well today. This happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah. Or do you just launch into it? And
just launch into it. Just apologize and launch into it, Dr. Jacalyn. There's no need to. It's the same as being late for a boardroom meeting. You come clankering in, sorry, I'm late, and everyone's like, well, we know you're late. We'll just sit down and shush, you know, and then afterwards go and apologize to the chairman or the CEO or whoever's addressing the board. It's not necessary. Think of, you know, you have to have situational awareness.
I agree with you. And something that's coming up for me, and I know you and I have discussed this before, if you're leading a course or you're teaching a class, and I found recently that people would like you to wait until everyone gets there. And my philosophy is, if something's starting at a certain time, you should be there before it's starting, not after it started and then expect that everyone's going to wait for you. But people feel that way.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. You know, again, punctuality. If you are going to a meeting and it starts at 10 o'clock, if you arrive at 10 o'clock, you're already late. You should be getting there minimum 10, 15 minutes beforehand. Now, we understand that people can get stuck in various traffic jams, public transport, whatever it might happen. Things do happen. My point is preparation is key in everything. And I bet you we all know those people who are always running late, who are always chasing their tails. And it's just because you don't, in my opinion, from my understanding and from my readings and studies, it's because we forget to structure and plan things accordingly. And when we do that, the likelihood of you continuously being late is going to start to diminish. And it's something that I truly believe we all can make an effort to change, that bad habit of turning up late or being late or rushing around like a headless chicken.
I love the analogies you're coming up with today. They're excellent. And something else that you said, I think, is really important. If you are late, we're talking about conferences today, but for whatever it is that you're late, you simply apologize and drop it. I don't understand why people go into a long dissertation about why they're late. No one cares. Now you're disrupting. You already are late. You came in, you're making a big show of the fact that you're late, and now you're taking up people's time, which is also not right, not fair.
Just apologize if it's appropriate to. Otherwise, wait till the end to apologize and leave it at that. It's the same sort of thing. If I put my foot in my mouth and said something not appropriate toward you, Dr. Jacalyn, or I made a faux pas. I'm so sorry, Dr. Jacalyn, as we're talking. I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry. And I just keep apologizing. It doesn't help. Just say, I'm really sorry for putting my foot in my mouth there. It didn't come out the right way, and move on.
Absolutely. And sometimes I've seen this where it becomes a passive aggressive thing, that someone says something demeaning to someone else. And then as they're explaining why it is that they did that, they end up putting it on the other person. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have said something like that if you didn't do X, Y, and Z. And now all of a sudden you are the problem instead of the person who made the statement to begin with.
Yeah, but that's not the way to apologize. You have to apologize, and you can't ever go down the route of saying, I'm apologizing, however you started. That's not going to go down well at all. It's not an apology at all.
Exactly. Exactly. So thank you for that quick diversion. So let's go back to conferences. And we were talking about the speaker, the presenter. What about when you finished delivering your content? Do you then try to solicit feedback from people? Hey, I'm finished now. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Anybody want to raise their hand, or you want to, how do you handle that?
Are you, sorry, am I correct in understanding you, let's say I've been speaking at the conference and now I'm engaging with my audience. Is that correct?
Yes. And you want to know from the audience right there on stage how you did.
That's also, I think, in the right sort of situation, you can absolutely do that, especially in what we would call a more sort of nurturing environment, an environment that you may, you may know most of the people in the audience or all of them, and you can get some really good feedback from people and some good questions from them, which will then give you the confidence to be able to answer questions clearly, consciously, precisely. And remember, in this journey, we do not want to start talking in highfalutin Swahili or highfalutin whatever language. You keep your answers very, very clear and to the point, so much so that a youngster could understand your answer. Again, having said that, if it's specific to a specific industry, as in the pharmaceutical industry, for example, as in doctors, there will be big words that come out, which is specific to that industry. And hopefully everyone in the room is understanding your answer or the message you're getting across.
Fantastic. Thank you. One more question in reference to the speakers. So let's say you're introduced by someone, you get up, you give your presentation. Can you then start promoting yourself and things that you've done, maybe packages that you offer, books that you've written, events that you're going to be hosting, or is that something that really is taboo?
For me, a great question. I'm going to answer that in two ways, if I may. And one of the ways is if you are endorsing yourself, as in when people sit in a room, whether you're coaching them or training them or you're delivering a keynote speech, people firstly these are unanswered questions. They're going to think, well, who are you? What do you know, and why should I listen to you? What's in it for me as the listener, basically? And when you go through, when you take that on board in that light as a speaker, you've really got to prepare yourself to be able to address those unanswered questions. That is for sure. And in our courses, we actually have a section in Train the Trainer, which is very powerful on presentation skills. We deliver that. It's a big part of our Train the Trainer. And with that specific scenario, when it comes to presentation skills, we really talk about ethos, pathos, and pathos. I'm trying to think of the other one. Oh, come on, Dr. Jacalyn, I need a little ethos, pathos, and not kudos. It'll come to me. But my point is that we have the opportunity. We call it the speaker's triangle, and we really give people the audience. So it's ethos, pathos, and logos. So the message is logos is the message. In other words, it's a term for logic in Greek, but it's also been made to represent the facts and the research and what proof or evidence. If you're making a statement or you're claiming something. So logos is something to convince the audience that what they're hearing or seeing is either well researched, well built, or otherwise worth their time. Then the pathos side of things is very much focusing on, we need to bring emotion. So it needs to be taking into account how we're going to make the audience feel or what the experience is going to be. In other words, the appeal of pathos makes the person either feel excited, they're going to feel sad, angry, they're going to feel motivated, jealous, or any other sort of number of emotions that may sort of persuade them to act based on what you say. So going back to your original question, if it's appropriate and you are promoting a certain scenario or yourself or product, very much you've got to bring that emotion, but it's got to be genuine, it's got to be authentic. And then on the ethos side of things, this is, you know, ethics, as you can imagine, that word, Greek word for the term ethics, but it's also to represent credibility of the person addressing the audience and making the communication, as in the speaker. The ethos very much establishes your message through a variety of factors, which would include status, awareness, your professionalism, the way you present yourself, it could even be celebrity endorsement and research. For example, Harvard University or Deloitte has recently written a report that 84% of organizations globally now are looking to make sure that their candidates have the right etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence. So you've got to build your ethos to make your audience trust what you're saying. And this is absolutely crucial.
I'm so glad that you shared that. That was new information for me. So thank you. And hopefully the audience is getting some new information as well. Speaking of the audience, more and more, at least the last conferences I attended, which were before 2020, people had their computers, they've got their phones. I know at a number of conferences, they have some type of interactive session where you actually use your phone to answer questions. They do polling, and then they take the number of or the percentage, and they share with everyone that people were paying attention, they weren't paying attention. But the phone and the computer themselves are distractions. And as you and I both know from the power of elevated listening, you can't be listening and looking and doing, even writing notes. You're missing some of what the presenter is saying. So what is etiquette and manners in terms of digital electronics that you have with you while you are at a conference listening to a speech?
In my, again, strong opinion here, Dr. Jacalyn, it's exactly the same as going to the cinema. When I was at the cinema with my son and Kerry on Saturday, we went to go and see Kung Fu Panda 4, and we had the opening before the curtains literally rose to start showing the film. They make it very clear, ladies and gentlemen, please, phones off. The white light is distracting. Make sure your ring is off. No talking during the show. Please consider other people, blah, blah, blah. And it so happens we had 3 teenagers in front of us, or just maybe slightly, yeah, they must have been late teens, drinking tequila in front of us on their phones. And eventually I said to the one young man, I said, please, the announcement just said no phones, and you're actually not allowed to bring your own booze in here, and could you just refrain? And they were chatting amongst each other. Eventually, I think Kerry just tapped the back of the seat and we went, shh. And this gentleman turned around in no uncertain terms and started using every swear word under the sun toward me. I just stood up. I wasn't going to intervene, and I went and called security, and they were politely removed. But this, I know it's a bit of a story, but going back to conferences, there's no need to have your phone on. Put it on flight mode and put it out of sight, because that in itself is going to distract other people in the audience. If you've got it on your lap and you keep fiddling with it, looking at it, it's disrespectful to the person addressing everyone. And people have become so addicted to their devices. It's actually a pandemic we're facing with the addiction to digital devices, and it doesn't serve you, and it's disrespectful.
I agree with you, definitely. And I just want to share a personal story, which I've already shared before here, and I've shared it with you, but I think it warrants repeating. I wasn't at a conference, but I was at a sales meeting, and my boss and I were pitching to the executive team, and it was a big opportunity, $5 million. And the decision makers were all at the boardroom table, and I stood up to present, and the 3 of them in front of me were on their phones. And I just stood there, and I could feel the sweat dripping down my back because I felt really nervous, because I know the other people are looking at me like, why isn't she starting? And finally, one of the gentlemen looked up and he said, are you going to start? And I said, I'm waiting for the 3 of you to show me the respect that I deserve by putting your phones away so that you can focus on what I'm saying. And I literally was shaking in my boots, so to speak, but they apologized and they put the phone, but I wasn't going to start presenting. They're the ones making the decision, and they're not even listening. So it's, to your point, you have to call people out at times, because we all deserve that respect to be listened to, because otherwise, what's the point of being there?
Absolutely. When you hit the nail on the head, and congratulations, or well done for doing that, because a lot of people wouldn't have had the courage to do that. And you're right. You've got to step out of your comfort zone and let people understand or know that that's not okay. It's not okay. But again, you weren't shouting or aggressive. You just put it in perspective, and hopefully, you know, the deal came through because they ended up showing huge respect for you, and the fact they respected the fact that you said, I'm not going to continue until you gentlemen are engaging with me and fully present.
Absolutely. Well, we continued our negotiations for several weeks, and then they decided not to go with us because we were more expensive. But
they lost out.
They did. But that was ages ago. So what I want people to take away from this is that how you show up as a human being, other people are watching. Somebody's always watching. So if you're not engaging with the presenter, this is something else I've seen where a person has a challenge staying awake. So they get up and they start walking, they start pacing in the back of the conference area. What about that?
Yeah, again, it's going to disrupt a lot of people. Now, a two-pronged approach. If it's a room where the whole conference is dark and the speaker is pretty much literally under the spotlight, you're not really, as a speaker, going to see a lot of the time. Depends how big the conference room is. See all the way to the back. It's not appropriate to get up and start moving around when there's someone speaking. Again, I know people might push back and say, yeah, but what if it's a large stadium? That's completely different. We're talking about an intimate conference, and a conference can obviously expand to couple of thousands of people. I don't think that would make much difference if someone is, I've been fortunate to speak on various stages, and one of them was in LA many years ago. And it was 3,000 people in the room. And quite frankly, I was very much engaged with my audience. And it didn't really bother me, people coming in and out of the doors. It didn't. I was so in the zone and focused, and I wasn't going to let something like that trip me up or disrupt my presentation and delivery. So again, as a speaker, as someone delivering, you've also got to prepare yourself that there will be interruptions, and you've just got to run and go with the flow. The worst interruption is when they interrupt you verbally and they start heckling. That's when you can put the fire out. But if someone needs to get up and go and stretch, just let them do so. Or let them fall asleep in their seat.
Thank you, Philip. And this one, I can't even believe I'm bringing it up, but I've seen it so many times where people are having private conversations during the presentation. And they think because they're whispering that no one can hear them, but you can hear them.
Absolutely. It's just a game. It's completely out. That should be ruled out. And again, as a speaker, I'd say, please, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it if you keep your conversations to the end, your own conversations to the end of my delivery, and keep it generic. And until someone continues, you say, excuse me, sir or ma'am, I've asked once already. It's very impolite, and let them know that, hey, I'm not going to accept your behavior in my domain while I've got the time to address you. Absolutely.
Now, the conference, the presentation is over for this particular time period, and it's time to eat. It's time for lunch. And many times at a conference, they have a buffet where people are lining up. And I've seen this, people start taking extra things that are packaged and they're putting them in their bag, taking them, or people are taking huge heapings of food. What are your thoughts about that? Because people will say, well, I paid for it. I can take as much as I want.
Yeah. Well, with all due respect, unless you're on the complete bread line, I think it's inappropriate on all levels. Even if you were on the bread line, that's hugely bad-mannered to do that, and just it's a no-no. 100%. It really is. It gets my goat, so to speak, when people pile their plates up sky high and they sit down, they have a couple of mouthfuls, and they think, I've had enough of this, and they go and get another plate of something else. A, that's food wastage, and B, they're eating with their eyes. There's a lot of greed going on, and it's just inappropriate. At a conference, and my guidance here, which may come across as obvious, but a lot of the time obvious doesn't jump out at a lot of people, is to take small portions, have a couple of small things, a small few portions on your plate, complete the meal and then go back and get something further to snack on. And you don't need to be hustling food into your bag. Maybe the odd bottle of water if you're going back into the conference, that would be obviously, I think, acceptable. But it's bordering on theft.
Yes, definitely. It's something to really take notice of. Just take what you can eat and then eat what you've taken. Now, I've seen this happen also. People get a plate of food and maybe their cohorts are sitting together at a table and there's no more room, or their friends are together. And then they're literally walking around looking for some place to sit. They finally sit down and then the other people act like they're not at the table. They even say, hello, my name is, and they're getting that cold shoulder. So you are still at a networking event every time you're at a conference. Isn't that correct?
You should jump at the opportunity if someone new joins you at your table, and introduce yourself with warmth and a smile, and connect with them, engage with them, because you just never know who you could be meeting and how that person might make a huge impact on your life, or vice versa. It really is fundamental. Get out of the narrow-minded mindset and be broad-minded, and having a what can I learn from this individual that's just joined the table attitude. It is so key.
And making someone feel comfortable is truly an honor and a gift. And you never know where that's going to go, because you never know who's connected to whom. And you and I know, because we've talked about this many times, but when you're networking, it's about giving value. It's not about taking or asking. And I think many times people will attend a conference not just for whatever the topic is or who the speakers are, but they're looking for opportunities to network with others. And as you mentioned before, we've had people on this platform talking about networking. What are some tips that you can give when it comes to networking etiquette?
Always have a what can I do for you attitude when you approach or you're engaging with people. That is the first thing. It's not what you can do for me. So a lot of people might construe networking as, I'm going to go out there and see if someone can give me a job. That might happen down the line if you've built a rapport and trust. So if you think about networking, it's very much about the opportunity to connect with people and to see how you can support them and open up about things that you might be able to do for them. It could be, I think I may have shared this on one of the shows before, it could be you're visiting the UK and I meet you at a networking event in the US, and I say, where are you staying? And I make a suggestion of a few places, and I'll give you a few other ideas that you could add to your itinerary. And you might say, I love history, and I'll make a suggestion that I really think you should go and see the Natural History Museum. So it's offering, it's really giving people something that they can chew on, so to speak. And again, with networking, one of the things that a lot of people fall down on is they forget to follow up. We go to these events, we're spending our time and energy there, and I'm also going to put in that caveat, alcohol front, try not to wolf back the alcohol, because that's not going to serve you either. You're going to leave the event fairly tipsy, and the next day you wake up no doubt with a bit of a hangover, and you've pretty much forgotten who you spoke to, or it just seems to be a bit of a haze. So again, the follow-up is so important. It's all good and well going to a networking event, but the follow-up is possibly the most important part of that, because that is where you can add even extra value via an email. It could be a WhatsApp, it could be a telephone call, whatever the medium is that you choose to connect with that individual is. Then I would always encourage a follow-up email. Personally, that's what I would normally do. And again, I would reiterate some of the material about the conversation we may have had. Again, offering my services in that if you ever come to London, please, I'd really appreciate having a coffee with you, and I'd love to show you around, or these are the hotels I mentioned to you last night that I think you would enjoy staying at, and so forth. So again, it's so important that we look at networking as such an amazing opportunity to build our network, as in our network becomes our net worth. And a lot of people don't understand the value in this.
I absolutely agree with everything you shared. And a question that I have, which we've discussed also before, but still pertinent. What about the paper business cards? Is this still the way to go, as opposed to I don't remember what the app is, but you can get an app on your phone and the information goes there. I don't know how that works, but do you still give out business cards?
I think it's crucial to have the old school business card on you. I really do. And I would suggest taking it one step further to have a good quality business card. If I could demonstrate the width, the thickness of my business card, which I've got one here, but it's going to be very difficult to sort of explain it or demonstrate it over the channel right now. But to give you an equivalent or an example, it's almost as thick as a credit card, or as structured as a credit card. It's a beautiful, thick business card. People always ooh and ah over it. They almost look at it, they think they've been given 2 business cards. The writing on your business card should be at a level where it's slightly bigger print than usual, because whether we like it or not, the light in a room might be bad. Even having glasses on, you're still tilting the card to try and ascertain what has been written on that card and the name of the person. Again, a business card is a great connecting tool, because when someone gives you a business card, what a lot of people fail to do is hang on to that business card and ooh and ah over it, and they normally just throw it into their pocket. Whereas you take that business card and say, oh, Dr. Jacalyn, wow, where did you get your doctorate in? And I see you're a chief listening officer, and you also focus on X, Y, and Z. That is fascinating. Now I've got the opportunity to really connect on your name, to really start answering some poignant questions that you can relate to and that you can give me some input on. So the old-fashioned business card, I'll always say to everybody out there, have a couple of printed. They're not going to break the bank. Make sure it's good quality. You don't need to have them embossed and spend lots of money on them, unless that is something that's very much going to suit your brand and part of your brand. I'm also going to share with you that, yes, there is the digital business card on LinkedIn now. I only discovered this about a year ago. You can go to your LinkedIn, tap on your profile, and a QR code comes up, and you can zap the other person's QR code, and then you can send an intro message right there and then put the phone away. It must be on silent, not on vibrate, because you'll be going around the conference or the networking event with your bottom going zzz, zzz, zzz. So again, I think it's very important that you're showing respect by having the phone out of sight, unless you take the other person's business card via a QR code.
Yes, I agree with you. I actually had business cards made up for USA Global TV and radio, and they are thick. Like you could tap it on the table, and it's bold writing with our logo, and there's not a lot on there. It's just our website, our YouTube channel, the logo. And I love giving that out, because people are like, wow, this, they're not going to be able to get rid of it easily. That's for sure. And then my other business cards for Dr. Jacalyn LLC, I have thicker paper, rounded edges, and my pictures on the front. And then my information's on the back. So I don't know if I like that. It's a few years old, but they're different businesses and they have different cards.
Yeah, that's important to differentiate your businesses. It gets too confusing these days with people. People have got a very short window of concentration now. With all due respect, we're all in that boat, and that's where we can get into so many different elements of, have you prepared your pitch? In other words, your personal statement. It's no longer an elevator pitch, because no one's got 30 seconds. You'll lose them in a second if you go into blah 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 blah. But yes, I like the idea that you've got 2 separate cards. There's quality. And I'm a big advocate in certain situations, in certain circumstances, certain businesses, for you to place a picture on your business card. It makes you memorable, and it's definitely going to serve you. And on that point, if you're running a business, Dr. Jacalyn and Daughters, and they get this card the next day, I don't even know what that woman does. I just Dr. Jacalyn and Daughters. But then they flip the card and they can see, you have a TV channel, you have a radio station, you're in multi blah blah. Then now that clicks. So it's important that don't waste the rear of your business card, because that can act as a little thumbnail sketch, resume, or CV.
It's very true. It's like having a digital billboard that it's featuring you. People are driving by, they see the billboard, they see your card, and there they have just a brief synopsis of how you can bring value to them and how to easily get in touch with them. 100%. So Philip, I want people to be able to reach out to you, and you've got a number of ways that you're bringing value and helping people. Tell our audience, especially our new viewers on Roku Worldwide and Amazon Fire, and all of our loyal viewers. We've got some people on Instagram as well. Please let us know, what do you offer at the British School of Excellence, and who would find value in what you offer? Thank you.
The school is very focused on the base and the foundation being etiquette and manners and emotional intelligence. Leveraging off that, we work with children from the age of 6. We have an amazing program called Etiquette. We are about to launch a few new teenage programs. At the moment, we've got mindset and confidence, mindset and money, mindset and resilience, and mindset and mapping for teenagers, as well as the polished student and the polished graduate. We then go into our senior courses under the etiquette training there. Dr. Jacalyn, you'll see we do the polished professional for adults, and yeah, whatever age, but it's generally for adults. We do the Train the Trainer. It's an amazing program where people who want to enter into our sector, in our industry, they can come on a 5-day intense program where we will support them thereafter. And that does certify you. Again, we were the first organization in our sector to ever become accredited by awarding bodies. So we've gone through a rigorous vetting process, not by one, but by 4 bodies, four individual bodies. And that just shows that we are very serious, and we have the platform and the credibility behind us. We can do one-on-one programs. We can do classes. It's very, very flexible. We are very adaptable to people's wants, needs, and desires. As I mentioned, Montclair, for example, focusing on the customer excellence, the attention to detail. We work with the Four Seasons Hotel. We work with Alfred Dunhill. We work with beautiful brands out there, as well as schools, universities. So it's a very wide reach, and everything we offer and deliver is for everybody out there. It doesn't matter where you come from in the world. The material we deliver is very focused on helping you build your confidence and learning to put your best foot forward. And that is what this is about. It's not about airs and graces. It's not about a list of do's and don'ts. This is a true lifestyle choice. This is something we are fastidious and passionate about when it comes to helping people grow and succeed.
And for those who were watching the screen, we were displaying your website, the BritishSchoolOfExcellence.com, and you have a big event coming up. What is it, and how can people participate?
Well, firstly, we've got Train the Trainer live here in London, and that's taking place the 2nd week of June. And we would love you to come and join us in London. It's a huge experience. We've got a wonderful itinerary lined up for those 5 and 10 days. And the week off the back of that is we have what we call the London Experience, which I believe may not even have any spaces left, but people are very, very welcome to look on our website, sign up for the following year. It is a real treat and an in-depth experience into London, and we've got some hidden gems in there that, with all due respect, the average person would never discover or even get a look in on. And it's come from years of building relationships and engaging with people who have opened the door for us in so many wonderful ways. The other thing we're going to be launching our Live, Learn, Teach, Inspire this month. I believe it's the middle of the month. I've got the most wonderful guest who is an ex-South African but been living in America for many, many years. He has an incredible story to tell. He's a motivator. He's spoken on some of the biggest world stages. He has traveled the world, changing people's lives and changing company cultures. He is just fascinating. His name is David Fabricius. Marketing material will be going out on the different channels very shortly. And I would love all of you out there and share, let people know what we're doing as an organization. And we would love to have that opportunity to connect with anyone out there who would like to just even inquire about what we could do to help them and support them.
Congratulations. So, by the way, the website looks phenomenal. And as we've mentioned, every time you have a graduate from your program come onto this show, what they've accomplished, what they are accomplishing, what they continue to accomplish is just world class. So for anyone out there who's watching on the live or the replay, please do reach out to Philip. We have Philip's information here. You've got the website. You've also got the email address. You've got the WhatsApp phone number. Philip, which of these is the best way to get in touch with you? Your email address?
Email is hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com, or we have WhatsApp buttons on our website. So we love engaging that human to human. And while we're on this, this is a beautiful book called My Etiquette and I. And this is written by Etienne Akapasong, who's based out of Nigeria. She did our Train the Trainer program many years ago. She then did very kindly ask me to write the foreword of the book. And then this book arrived beautifully packaged many years ago. And I had the privilege of writing the foreword in here. Not only that, has this young lady gone on, she's gone on to set up Etiquette the Etiquette Africa Institute, and they've just held a 2-day conference in Africa, bringing African leaders from different parts of Africa together over the last 2 days. And I was very graciously awarded an award for my contribution to civility through Africa, and it's a great honor to have accepted that. But it just goes to show that the people that walk through this door are serious about making a difference. We'll give you those tools in order to help you on your journey, and we will support you right through that journey.
Please do reach out to Philip. I can personally advocate for him and for his team. They are world-class, exceptional at what they do. And Philip's a great person, by the way. He's a friend, and I really love working with him and our chat. So, Philip, thank you for taking the time. I know how busy you are, and I look forward to chatting with you over the weekend, hopefully, and then seeing you here next week.
Wonderful. Have a fantastic rest of your day, Jacalyn. And, I look forward to hopefully getting a word in this weekend. It would be lovely.
Fantastic. All right, I'll be in touch.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for listening, for being here. I personally really do appreciate you. As we continue to grow our platform, we are now also on Zizzle TV, which Zizzle TV celebrates ethnicity. And if you have a Roku TV or an Amazon Fire TV, you can look for USA Global TV. You can download our app. You can also look for Zizzle TV. You can download their app. We're also on E360 TV. You can download their app. So we are many places as we continue to expand, because our goal is to reach as many people across the world as possible, because we're sharing education. That is our primary mission. So if you go to our website, usaglobaltv.com, you'll see we have about 40 some different shows, and you can watch the shows in the archives on YouTube, or you can also watch our shows live, as you are right now if you are watching live. So thank you again for being here. We'll be back with our next show, and let's take a look and a listen to Philip and the Polished Professional. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip SYKES and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program, where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they are instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.